Hey gang, I think last time we successfully solved the blue screen problem with the setting the auto white balance, or setting the white balance on the camera from auto to fluorescent. I still didn't do a proper white balance today with the card. I'm sorry. It's easier to do with two people, one to actually hold the card in the lighting because the camera's just it's out of arm length away. I do notice right now that we do have that shadowy thing back there again that we didn't have for a while. I moved the camera sideways because the UFO was poking itself in, and I'm trying to keep it out of the shot. But as promised from yesterday, today I'm going to talk about Amazon Video Direct again, and we're going to talk about their responses to inquiries. And basically, you have inquiries for a few reasons. One, your money's not showing up, right? So you go and you check your minutes, and your minutes are really, really high, and your money's still really, really low. And that can be upsetting. And they'll always say, well, reports take up to 5 days to catch up, and blah, blah, blah. The problem is at the end of the month, when the report's taking 5 days to catch up, so your minutes are what they are, but they're 2 days behind, or 3 days behind, or 4 days behind, and your money is 2 or 3 days behind that. So it's almost the end of December, right? We got 5 days left. So December 31st, my minutes will still be maybe somewhere here on the 25th, and I'll have had 5 days in there. Now, it being December, there probably won't be many because people are doing Christmassy stuff, and I've only got one Christmas movie. And it's short, very, very short. It's 5 minutes long, so, it takes like 30 people to watch it before I get paid anything. But, I'm sorry, guys, I go off on tangents all the time, don't I? But so, 25th, the end of the month, my minutes may still be based on today, which means my money is also based on today. Then January 1st rolls around, and this money gets put aside, and it says estimated, right? Have you ever gone back and seen that amount go up? Have you ever seen the estimated amount go up after the month is over? Because I haven't. I've seen it go down. I saw it go down by $200 one month. And I just figured, my math was off or something happened. I did write to them then the next month when my amount went down. And I said, so what happened to those estimated minutes? Because I can understand them going up. I know sometimes the minutes are 5 days behind. But if the minutes had already been watched, they'd already been reported, they were already there, where did they go? Did people go back and unwatch my movie? Did they say, you know what, we forgot this movie, we don't want to pay for it? Did they rewind it in their brain and somehow push the minutes back in? And in response to that, I actually got a check for like $82 or something. So that's one thing that you will reply to them for, you'll write to them for, and your response you'll get is always the same canned response, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it except keep very close track and then complain later if you can figure out something went wrong. I mean, I'm thinking of just starting to, every month or so ask, hey, are my minutes right? Did I get paid right? Blah, 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 and see what happens. I really don't see them going backwards that far. But we'll see. If I do that, I'll let you know how it turns out. Because right now, the other thing I'm dealing with is this constant not being able to publish stuff. Now, I'm going to guess that this last time my thing didn't publish, it was either because of human error on my part or because of an error of something loading to the site that I tried to load and it didn't load. Because I purposely made a new version of my video. Now, before I even tried to load The Simplest Thing Season 2, Episode 2, which was the one flag I got, I tried to load it. But before I output it, I output a new one that took the web address out. It no longer said, hokefolkprod.com. At the top, though, it still said, be sure to subscribe to keep up. And as I didn't know, you can't have calls to action of any kind. So be sure to subscribe to keep up, I had to also take out. So I made a second version after it was flagged for that. But it didn't say that. It said... So I'm still not positive that's what it was, because they don't tell you that. It said, this error, blah, 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 mezzanine error, and it could be call to action, URL, not the right format, not the right resolution, blah, 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 blah. So I think I know that all those things are right, so I went with that one thing that might possibly be what it is. I then tried to load the new one. Apparently, when I went back to check it yesterday, the old file name was still there. So did it not save it? Did it not publish it? Did I put it in the wrong place? Since it was on a day or two off when 3 of my titles also just disappeared and came back, and disappeared and came back, and disappeared, had errors and came back with no errors, I think it could have been the site, you know. So I'll take the hit on that was me, that I did it. So human error, I had to do it again. But you know, if they would write to me and say, this is what the problem is, or when I write back, they would say, we've checked it, this is what the problem is, it would help to save 2 to 4 day delays every time it goes into getting reevaluated, right? Then there was a second video where the problem was, and this is why I say it could have been human error. The flag that comes back on that is captions could not be synced. Now, I just redid these captions. I just rechecked these captions. They said no matter what, they didn't sync, they couldn't be synced no matter what. But I literally just redone them because I, you know, had gotten back a thing that they were missing dialogue. Missing dialogue. And the only dialogue I was able to find missing, the only dialogue was when the princess character goes, yoo-hoo. Remember I told you guys about that in another video. There's another video of me doing that. And so I put in 2 yoo-hoos. 2. A yoo-hoo and during a talkover and another yoo-hoo during a musical section. Shouldn't have thrown anything off. I actually pulled a music cue out, a music caption out, because it didn't necessarily have to be there. It was continued music from somewhere else, and added a yoo-hoo. But the same number of lines in the caption shouldn't have thrown off anything. But according to this message, apparently it did. So I go back through every single thing, and I find that there's a shimmer noise on my chimes, that it says chimes about a half a second to a second before the chimes actually happen in the audio. I'm like, oh, maybe that's the caption that won't sync. So I do that. I re-export my captions. I go back to resave them, and I look. The wrong video is on episode 3. It's episode 2, the fixed one that should have been on episode 2. So now I'm thinking, well, the way these line up, maybe I screwed that up. Maybe that's where it came from. But here's the thing. They're a different length. They're different lines. When the lines wouldn't sync, you would think what the person would say, instead of checking a box that says, captions won't sync, is wrong captions. Or is there a place to put a notation or anything? No. So even if I made the error, their way of reporting it to me is upsetting. So, a while ago I wrote back that it was taking a really long time to process one of my things, and they said, no, it's because there's a weekend and there's a holiday and it's processing on exactly the right day, and it processed like that moment that I sent the thing. Right? They got it through the approval. If I hadn't sent it, I guarantee you it would have taken another day. But they went back and checked when I submitted to do all this math. And I said, well, no, that was a resubmission, because I had another submission that I had done, but it threw off my Germany things. I didn't have the language in there, and I tried to leave it out, and then I pulled it out, and I'd rather have it show up with an error message than show up without being published and all this other stuff. Because all I was doing was trying to make it free with ads. I wasn't changing anything. And it really bothers me that I can't just change the availability and not have everything else rechecked. It's a different tab. It's a different page. It doesn't change the actual files when you change the availability. So why does everything have to be rechecked when all I did was change the availability? What else could have gone wrong? What else could be different if I only used the one tab? I didn't change the video. I didn't change the mezzanine. I didn't change the artwork. Nothing. So how would any of that have changed? Why should my desire to change the availability cause a 4-day review period? Okay? That's one. 2, they had a count. They started their count. I submitted it on a Friday. They start their 4-day count on Monday. I'm like, no, if I submitted it Friday morning or midnight on Friday, Friday's a day. Friday counts as a day. So the 4-day count should be Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Right? So there was that disagreement I had with them. But here's the thing. If they can go back and check that, why can they not go back and check the videos that I had submitted before I did the fix I did yesterday? Because the response I got today to the error on episode 2 and the error on episode 3 of The Simplest Things was, well, you've already resubmitted fixes and hit publish again, so we can't check because the errors aren't available anymore. We went back and checked to see that you did that. It'll be through the review process in 2 to 4 days. My question is, if you were going to go back and review the videos to see what the error was, because there's no place to leave a note and there's no way to leave a specific problem that it was, you've always got to guess these 5 problems, then resubmit for 2 to 4 days. If you were going to go back and check the videos, if I hadn't put in fixes. Why, when I put fixes in, can't you just review them and pop it up to the front of the queue and get it approved? Because we know that everything else is there, right? We changed the one thing. We fixed the one. Why can't we get this process faster? For the same reason we can't use the URL that Amazon gave us in our titles on Amazon, because Amazon Video Direct makes no sense. They want to do well. They try to do well. Maybe. I don't know. What they really want is to make money from your work and give you a little bit of it. Which is great. I mean, I appreciate that. I want the money. But if they made the process easier, we could all be making more money right now. And I don't mean easier like make it where you can get crappier videos on there. My videos are crappy enough. I know that. I don't mean easier to where people can slide in illegal stuff and get, stuff that's not really public domain and put it in as public domain. Like all those people that think anything that's black and white is public domain. Things were made in black and white after copyright, and that doesn't mean it's public domain. The old episodes of The Outer Limits don't belong to you. I don't mean so that people can get in pornography or any of that stuff. I don't mean make it easier for people to slip in illegal stuff or stuff that really goes against the actual content they want or the actual rules of the game. What I mean is make the rules easier to follow. Make it easier for us to know when we've done something wrong. When I've made a human error, like put an entirely wrong video with an entirely wrong captions. They won't sync because all the words are different. That's not syncing. That's you have the wrong file there. Why couldn't somebody just tell me that? That would have saved me all those other steps I did before I went in and found out on my own. Because the thing is, I get the messages on my phone and I got to go on my computer to check the stuff, and I need to streamline my system better too, okay? But the problems with my system are my problems, and I'll fix them. The problems with Amazon's system, they need to fix them. But my advice to you guys, whenever you get an error message, this way I can now make this a little bit of a thing that like instruction, right? Whenever you get an error message, go straight to your files, go straight to your Amazon page, and check and make sure everything is as you remember it being. Make sure the files are the files, you remember them. Always, always, always when you have to resubmit a video file or a caption file or anything else, tag it special. Don't just resave it as the same old file. So make it fixed or second shot or try 2, try 3, try 4. So you know what changes you've made. You can track that you've made changes, because you might need to be eliminating, through guesswork, through trial and error, what the 5 possibilities they gave you of why something is wrong is wrong. Even with all the help I'm trying to give you guys to make it seem a little bit more simple as to, what you need to get out there the first time to get up there the first time. So, that was yesterday that I resubmitted, which means today, The Simplest Things probably won't publish. So my best shot at getting The Simplest Things published is tomorrow or Christmas Eve, which is just terrible. Because the thing is, the more new content you get on Amazon Prime, the more shots your old content have of getting more minutes, right? Because it's got my name on it, it's got Hocus Pocus Productions' name on it. Stuff that has Debbie in it has Debbie's name on it. Stuff that has, Monique Parent or Riley Morgan or any of my movies that interconnect. Jen Wanger and Michelle Pernay and Brewer Welch, all of my actors that I use over and over, Joel D. Wynkoop, their names, when they're in one of my movies and people watch that one and then they want to see the next one, they can connect it with Customers Also Watched or go through IMDb and see other titles. And when they see the other titles, there's all my titles come up because I work with the same people. Like I said, it behooves you to work with the same people over and over again. The Simplest Things, the only titles that are the same are my name. The only things that connect are my name and Hocus Pocus Productions. But there's a whole other season of The Simplest Things also, and I really want to do a 3rd season. And to do that, I need to get the first 2 seasons seen enough to be popular to make us some money so that we know that it's worth doing a 3rd season. Right? Right. So, that's my bit of advice, my bit of a rant for today. We're getting much closer to the holidays, so these may slow down a little bit, but I also have to work from... I also need to be home for the holidays this year because I've got guests at our rental both holidays, Christmas and New Year's. And I don't like to be too far away when that happens if I can help it. This way, if something happens, I'm there to fix it. So I will probably be around to do something. So over the next, 10 days, or 6-8 days, we might get out 4 more videos. We might get out 8 more videos. We'll see. Please follow the blog. Those will be easier to do. And we'll talk to you soon. And we're going to see how this blue screen works now, because it's the same lighting situation, but I swear there's more shadows. And this shirt is not as black as the other one. But I did not notice my color change again. So either the bulbs are warmed up better, or it was really that auto white balance trying to keep up with us. So we'll see.